Most people's note-taking systems are digital graveyards. Files go in, but they never go out. Today I'm showing you the system I use to manage 2 businesses, family life, and my ADHD brain, and it's all connected like a neural network. But first, excuse me. The best way I've found to do this is using a tool called Obsidian, which you can download for free. But first, what I want to do before we boot it up is I want to show you one of the immediate things that got me to jump on this, because all these tools out there, it's really hard to keep adding more tools to your system because you already have a lot of tools. We don't need to get tools that are just hyped up on the internet that aren't really helping us, right? I really struggle with organization. So that's where this piqued my interest. And then I want to show you on my folder system here. So ZBrain is where I have ZBrain. This is where I have everything organized, okay? Now, usually in a normal computer system before LLMs and all this other stuff and Obsidian, right? You would say, okay, I'm going to organize all my stuff in my documents folder, and I'm going to have my business thing here and my personal thing here and my taxes here and boom, 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 right? Okay, great. But the LLM doesn't have a way, the large language model, Claude, we're going to use Claude as an example today, doesn't have a way to sort through it easily. So you bring in these questions or you bring in new projects or tasks, and it's not going to fully understand what you want it to do unless it has really good context. But the longer it spends searching for the right context, you're wasting time, you're wasting tokens, and then it also slowly gets dumber as the context window becomes bigger. So there's a lot of issues going on, and this is one of those ways where you can help manage that. So in a normal file system, we'll say, all right, great, Zach, you have a numbered system, you got an inbox, you have thinking, reference, creating, published, archive, system, projects, journal, personal. I'm going to go over all these in Obsidian in a minute. But if you just think about this, going through your file system, you're like, okay, where did I put that? I mean, it's thinking, category, what's this, what's that, right? Or it's like, I was creating something, but where did it really go? And then you got to spend all this time going through it and then probably open up your terminal or your Claude in there, right? So you're going to go, I'm going to click creating, and then I'm going to say, okay, I want to read this Claude MD, and I want to start the terminal in here. Right? And I got to go to that and start it in there and then find the context. And that's a much slower way to get started, right? So what would be a faster way? If you can start indexing all of these files and systems and subfolders in an architectural framework that makes sense to the LLM. And one thing that's awesome about Obsidian, let's start booting it up right now, is it works with MD files. And MD files, if you don't know, are a very easy way for LLMs to read files. They love MD. So if you have a doc.doc from Microsoft Word, it's not going to like that as much as it would a .md. It's going to be able to search and find things in the MD 10 times faster, okay? So that's what makes this really important. All right, so opened up Obsidian, okay? Now, you have to create a vault, right? If you don't have one already. So how do you do that, okay? Open vault, and then you can create one. And so you see, I just have my one vault because that's where I run everything out of. And so it's in my users, zoo, boom, documents in ZBrain, okay? And that's where I run Claude out of, okay? So that's where you open it up as, or create a new one, and then you can make sure Claude is in there, okay? So then what do you notice? We have everything here to our left, right? So you can see I have all of my folders in there. So one of the cool things about this is you can visualize anything immediately. So journal, let's go to my 2025. Let's go January. Let's go daily. And I got a daily journal here for 2025. And boom, I have all my context for what I was doing that day, okay? And then you can see I can visualize it very nicely. This is a really nice view to look at versus at just a dry MD file. It's not going to be visualized as pretty as this, okay? So those are just the most obvious things that stand out immediately. If you end up liking the file system structure I have, don't worry. If you stay around to the end of the video, I'm going to share it all with you, okay? And Claude can build this out for you. How I'm thinking about this at a high level, okay, is I have a inbox, a zero friction capture. I'm just dumping things in here. Another feature, a little bonus at the end, I'm dumping things in here from my iPhone actually as well. So I might screenshot something and then I can dump it in here and then it can auto get organized and sent exactly where I want it. Okay. Thinking. Okay. Your notes, your syntheses, your MOCs, your MOCs. Okay. So what is an MOC? Think of table of contents. MOC is a map of context. Okay. So we're mapping context for the LLM. All right. Reference. I'll explain more. Reference, external knowledge, docs, books, content, any external knowledge that you are referencing for your hobbies, your business, whatever it is. This is where we're going to take that in. Okay. And then we have creating. All right. Now, creating is interesting, right? Because you might be creating an art project, or you might be creating a work document or a business document, or you might be creating something for your taxes, right? Well, guess what? Everything that's being created can go in here. And I have BSS and ZLC, two of my different businesses, and I create in those specifically. Okay. And then we have published. All right. So we're keeping track of finished work, and then we can archive that. So we're not wasting a whole bunch of time and context essentially going through old stuff that may not be priority. However, it's archived in a way that we can go back to it or grab it if we need it later. Okay. And then our archive system as well. Okay. So that's just the next step, inactive, if you will, or older content. Okay. And then the systems, number 6, templates, tools, personas. Okay. And then some LLM context is in there as well. Number 7 is my project. So this is active technical work that I'm working on, or I have put to the side, but I'm going to come back to next week, something like that, but relatively active. And usually in Terminal, I'm going to say, hey, Claude, let's start a new project. And it knows exactly what to do. It's going to create a new folder there. The journaling system, daily reflection, session logs, weekly reflection. And it's a way that I am prioritizing my goals in my life and holding that forefront to me and being reminded daily, which is a / command, which is also becoming a skill command as well. I'll get more into that later. And then we have personal, okay? So private, family life, faith. Some of this I'm going to pull on for my business because I want my business to know who I am a little bit, because I like sharing that with people, because I think it's a good way to make people realize I'm a real person and I'm just not here for the money, right? So anyways, I can pull from that as necessary, but inside you'll notice that inside family, for instance, I'm going to have allowed, personal allowed, and then what's private, okay? So like I'm not going to give you where my wife works or where my kids go to school, that type of thing. I'm going to make sure that that's staying private, okay? But again, I'm bringing everything into the brain. Now I mentioned MOC earlier, map of content. Okay, think of table of contents, but it's a map of contents. Okay, it's a hub that links everything related to one topic. Okay, so if I go to my thinking folder here, you'll see MOCs. Okay, and I'm gonna open that up. So AI automation is one of my MOCs, content creation, one of my MOCs, fitness coaching, one of my MOCs. So if I go into AI automation, you'll notice here, this is where it gets interesting. Okay. So first off, you see tags, all right? So that's going to be linked in the system, and I'll show you a little more about that in a minute. But think of this map of context, AI automation, MOC, Black Sheep Systems, that's my business name. So it has a business overview, right? And then it has core projects where I work. And then it has active sub projects, okay? Content, the technical tools we've been using, all of this stuff. And then it has related MOCs. So when Claude is going through this, it can say, oh, I see this, and oh, I can connect the dots so much easier, right? So if you didn't have this, you would just have one MD file maybe and be like, well, this is my Black Sheep Systems automation. Cool. But what about your identity of the business brand? What about you and how you're bringing yourself into the brand or not bringing yourself into the brand, right? And then what about the sub projects? You want to know when you're talking to Claude about your business, what sub projects you're working on. Because if I say, hey, Claude, the next 6 months, we really got to ramp it up. How can we do this? It's going to say, oh, okay, well, let me just think without any more context. Or in this case, what it's going to do is, okay, well, I know your active sub-projects. I know what your content's been doing lately. I know what we did yesterday and last week, right? We're building up to this. okay? And it can find it so much easier. So it's a way to organize and connect everything so much better than you have before. Now, let's click into one of these and I'll go show you a little deeper. BSS current priorities, okay? Click in there. What happens, okay? So we have tags still. We have some aliases. And then you're going to notice the current priorities for January 2026, okay? And then I'm going to have checkboxes even, okay? I can check these. I can go in here and check these, or the LLM will do it for me, okay? Target market. What's not the right to focus on? All of these things are based off of conversations that I've had with Claude, okay? And then we create these. So when I make some progress or when I want to add something to my memory, right, we know exactly where to put it, okay? Which is, again, really important. If you're using Claude for everything, this is going to save you so much time and be so much more efficient, because when you're talking to Claude, prompting Claude, guess what? It's going to know that context, right? So you can see where MOCs, maps of content, can be very valuable. All right, now let's go over tags and how they're used. This one's pretty straightforward, most likely for you because you're used to things being tagged in different systems or just on your computer in general, right? So you're linking things with tags, basically subjects. So for instance, Black Sheep Systems, BSS, right? If I go into creating here and I go down to BSS, I just wiped all of this, by the way, to make it more clean. And I really wanted to show you the high integrity of the system. So I changed a lot of things. But if we go into BSS, we go into YouTube, you're going to notice, guess what? I'm making a YouTube video today, right? So Obsidian Brain, operating system, perfect. And I'm going to go to my outline. I already had it open. My outline. Boom, right? And then you're going to notice the tags at the top. So this outline is related to Black Sheep Systems, BSS, to my content creation. It started as a video idea, and then now it's active. We're utilizing it. So those tags will change depending on where it is in the structure or the framework. And then when we're creating new things in Claude, for instance, a new outline, a new idea, my Claude Global knows that we tag them in this specific way. So I trained it in that way. And again, it's not some confusing training model. Once you start with the creation of this framework and structure, you can tell Claude how you want to be prompted to organize this. And then you can say, we're also just going to be ongoingly organizing things because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to organize this. Or I just started a YouTube channel. I'm not sure how we're going to organize this yet. So start out with a YouTube folder and then we'll go from there, right? But it's still going to have those tags that says at least YouTube on it, right? And then it's going to find it a lot faster that way. We are almost to the point of where I'm going to show you the graph view, which is really cool. It's like a neural network of the brain, okay? But first, I want to go over how you're going to look at wikilinks, okay? And at first, wikilinks, I was like, wikilinks? Like what? CIA? Like what are we talking about here? So wikilinks actually came from Wikipedia, which this is how Wikipedia was created, by using these double brackets to link pages together. So a double bracket would be double bracket like that. And then you'll notice, oh, I can have a whole bunch of things I can link in here, or I can say personal principles. Boom. I want to link this to that, right? And then boom, that's going to be in there. So let me show you one I already have. If I scroll down here to, here we go. Check the BSS resume, right? That is the double bracket. And that's going to know that we need to wiki link to that. Oh, perfect. This is the outline. Yeah, I forgot we're in the outline. So wiki links, right? The way to connect one note to another using double brackets. Okay. So if I'm creating a new note, right? I'm going to say create new notes, and I'm going to say new idea, and I'm going to say blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to say, you know what? This is really good. So I'm going to do YouTube ideas, right? And then I'm going to click that, and that's it, right? And then I can close it, go about my day, but I already have it in there, okay? So whether you're talking to the LLM or you're just doing this yourself, like you're writing yourself, or you're going through documents, or you're doing a journal, whatever it is, right? That's a really handy way to link them together. And then in graph view, which I'll show you in a minute, is a great way to visualize these things, which is really stinking cool. Let's work through the outline that I have open right now, because this is going to be a way to visualize exactly how I created this for the video. And then now I can use it, but also resource it. So everything is going to make sense. So one of the big things to understand with the double brackets, because my thing at first was tags, like I'll just tag it. But double brackets have a bidirectional linking, okay? And so you are able to have note A that links to note B and note B that still links back to note A. And that's how we're making these connections, okay? And again, you're going to visualize this soon in the graph, and I'll show you, and it'll make a little more sense, which is really cool. Okay, part 5, cross links. What are they? Wikilinks between notes that aren't MOCs. Okay, so we're connecting ideas to ideas, but it's not a map of context. Okay, so think it's a lower layer. We don't need too many MOCs, or guess what? It starts bloating our thinking and slows us down. So, for instance, a note on ADHD strategies mentions that I have a daily 3 priority system. Okay, so for instance, let's say I'm reading an ADHD book, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I really like that, what he said in there. Great. So I'm going to type a note, right? Note, new note, Command N, and I'm going to say ADHD book 1, right? And I say quoted Sharif saying XYZ, boom, right? And so then I can say double bracket it, and then I can add that, and knowing that I have this system daily. It's ADHD, ADHD guide, right? Or strategies, right? And then what I love about this is I can't remember exactly where I wanted to go. I know it has ADHD, so I just type my keyword, right? And then I can see exactly where I needed to go. My headshot is apparently ADHD too. You see what I'm saying? So that can be the power of this, okay? So you're going to build a spider web or a neural web of knowledge inside of the isolated files. So one big idea leads to a little idea and another big idea. And then all of a sudden, you're creating your second brain, just like I started with. Okay, graph view. This is where it gets fun and interesting, okay? So a visual map showing all notes as dots with lines connecting notes. Let me just show you. Boom. This is really cool. This is like one of my favorite things about this, okay? It's just so fun, all right? Hallelujah. Okay, so this is my second brain. Cool. Let's go dive deep in there, okay? So you can scroll in there, look around. Now, you can navigate in this, and that could be helpful for you. It just depends on personal preference, right? Okay, but you can see the linking structure that I've been explaining really going through. So this is one of my projects, deprecated best practices, right? And it's all starting with my README. And then I can click in there and see all of that. And then I can open it if I want to by clicking it and seeing what I was building, okay? That's for my personal website, okay? Now, going over here in the filters section, okay? This is where you're like, that's a lot of dots, man. Well, yeah, we're building out a second brain, okay? So you can go by tags, right? And then we're going to be able to organize them better. And I can say BSS, Black Sheep Systems, and then that's going to filter it for me. And then all of a sudden, boom. And then I can go deeper in here. And then what do we have, right? This is where it gets so cool, man, because you're going to start seeing how everything is connected. And then this is going to not only help you execute better decision-making and high-level thinking, but you can just have these sessions that I have with Claude and be like, hey, let's jump into BSS. All right, so let's jump into my business. And then let's just talk, right? And use it as a thinking partner, a strategist, whatever you want. But it's going to be able to think with you. And then you're going to be able to reiterate all of these thoughts and ideas and then add what is valuable and then say, oh man, last year I thought that making YouTube shorts was the best thing ever. This year, it's dead. I'm done with it. Let's put that to the side as a lesson learned. I wasted hours of my life making shorts that just made me feel better, right? Something that you learned, and then you change it right there, okay? So that's the tagging system. You have attachments. I'm going to zoom out a little more because I just love looking at it. Now, orphans. What is an orphan? An orphan, let me disconnect it. Boom. So where did all the other dots go, right? So orphans are notes that are not connected to something, okay? And that's going to happen. That's normal. And you could create this in Claude if you want to and say, I want to eliminate orphans after every session, something like that, if that's super important to you. It's not as important to me because the main structures are here. And I think about orphans, essentially. I'm going to show them again. I think about orphans as you're driving down the road, right? And you see something on the side of the street and it makes you think, oh, okay, I could be doing something differently. And it becomes this little idea. But it's just a little idea. You're not really going to implement it or do anything with it just yet. But it's just an idea. And it's out there and it's in your brain. And most of the time, especially for somebody like me, it just flies away. Okay? But with orphans, we can record them and keep them here and then decide to add them later or just extinguish them. Okay? So that's a good way to think about it. And then you have groups. You can do groups. I don't do groups. You can change the looks of this. You can animate it, and then the forces, how far away the circles are, and make it look all pretty for yourself, however you want it, whatever you want to do for personalization, okay? And that's for filters, okay? So that is the graph view. So key takeaways, why is this impressive? When a vault is well connected, like you're seeing here, it looks like a neural network. Visually, you can see how ideas are related to one another, okay? That's what's impressive. All right, it's fun. Now, what are the takeaways, though, that you need to know? Is you don't need graph view. If you want to use it, great, but you don't need it, okay? That's not what we're teaching here. However, each note is a dot. Each wiki link is a line that connects the dots. The MOCs, the maps of content, they become the bigger clusters. Lots of connections there. So I'm going to make more of those with things that are more important or projects. Orphan notes, we went over that. Filters by tag, folder, search term. Easy. So if you're anything like me and you found this too late before you started, guess what? That's not a problem. How did Claude do this, you're probably wondering. And oh my gosh, my files are everywhere. I would love to do this, but how do I implement it now? Let me explain. Let's pull up terminal and let's go ahead and use the brain. Show you how I do this. I am doing my live video right now of the Obsidian YouTube operating system brain. Okay, I want to explain YAML front matter because I am on outline part 8 and you're going to do a much better job of explaining YAML than I am. Okay, so we just throw that in there and let it cook. Okay, so why we wait on YAML, okay? I just want you to see me actively using the terminal. I think it's very helpful, right? And how I talk to it, and if I need to go find something, how this all connects and works now, right? Boom, right away. All right, so YAML front matter is a metadata at the top of your markdown files that Obsidian and other tools can read and use. So it's this, yeah, it's gonna show you. I love this. Aliases, tags, status, created, okay? So important details to help it sort it faster. Essentially, is how I look at it. So why it matters. Machine readable plugins, data view queries, and automation can filter, sort, and search by these fields. Consistent structure. Every file follows the same format, making your vault queryable like a database. Okay? That's what I added on top of my mess, right? It's one of the key pieces. Aliases. Lets you link to a file using different names, right? So ZLC, Zach Lloyd Coaching, finds the actual Zach Lloyd Coaching. And then tags in the front matter, cleaner than the inline tags, faster to find instead of scattered throughout all your content. Now you can query show me all videos in the scripted status or all BSS content published this month, right? And it gets there a lot faster. As you can see, I mean, it did that in a matter of, I don't know, 8 seconds. I wasn't counting, but not very long, right? And again, I'm just prompting it to go find something deep inside all of my system, right? So it found it really fast. And then obviously we want to expand on it. Great. Okay. So you get the idea there. Okay. And then we added consistent tags across the system when I implemented the system, converted the file path references to actual wiki links. We talked about that. And then we added related, which is that cross-linking system at the top of each file, like we just explained. And then we updated the maps of content and created a couple more, okay? Because those are the true hubs that you can see that are these big neural connections here with the big white circles. So before I give you the exact system prompt that you can add this into Claude and have Claude do it for you, I want to show you one little bonus feature that I just love, okay? You noticed my inbox earlier, okay? I didn't show you my Kanban. So if I go into Save Tabs, I have a Kanban, all right? And then I have this week, don't lose, research, read, done, okay? These are everything that this is currently just X stuff. It made more sense to do it that way. I am sending a link to my inbox from my phone, or I'm sending a screenshot. So a screenshot example would be, so I had Claude tips and tricks, okay? And then I just screenshot that on X, okay? And then what happens is I simply do a shortcut button, or you can share it, and then I save it to, I don't have this hooked up. I would love to show you. Next time I'll try to hook up my phone. But then I save it to my files, which I have a file called Brain Capture, okay? And that is an iCloud folder that is shared on my Mac and my phone. So I throw it in there. So I screenshot it, throw it in there, boom. And then it comes into screenshots, if it's a screenshot. And then I can see, oh, there we go. There it is. I can see the Claude bot tips and tricks, okay? Some of these are already sorted already. I need to clear them out. So then what do? It's a screenshot. Great. Well, I can see it. I can read it, obviously. Great. But more importantly, all I have to do to get it into my saved tab so I can look at it later, right, is I added, actually, I wouldn't even type this. I don't know why I'm typing. It's probably habit. I added a screenshot into inbox for Claude bot. Can you go ahead and put that in our Kanban? And the idea too is you wouldn't do this with every single screenshot, right? You would do this with several different screenshots, but I just want to show you this for demonstration purposes. It's really cool. And again, this is not something you have to sit here and wait for it to do as well. If you're like me, I have these other windows, obviously, I'm working in projects on, and I would be working in those projects, send that there, and then just let it do it. I see several screenshots in your inbox. Okay, so several screenshots in my inbox. Is going to take a little longer to go find the exact one for the demonstration, but that's okay. We're going through the whole thing. I love it. So see, it's loaded into the inbox. Claude knew exactly where to go. Screenshot shows, oh, I'm working on some, my Windows computer overclocking the graphics card. Oh, there we go. We found it. Boom. So, whoops, Shift Tab. Oops, wrong folder. Shift Tab. Automatically accept that. Okay. And then it's going to update. Look, kanban.md. Done. So now we can go, boop, reload it. Okay, it's not there. So what am I going to do? Take a picture, screenshot it. No, now it is. Immediately added. So I had a mistake. So this is great. You can see what I worked with a mistake. So you're using save tabs, Kanban in your inbox, not the root. Great. So I'm not sure why it did that. I tested this earlier and it worked fine. So what I'm going to do about that is, look, CloudBot tips and tricks in my research doc. Screenshot right there. Boom. Okay. So now I don't want that to happen again. So what do? Okay. Yeah, we definitely messed that up and put it in the root Kanban. So make sure you remove it from the root Kanban MD, but also make sure that our global settings are noting that we need to put these into the saved tabs when we are organizing them and not into the root kanban.md. So next time we run the automation, we know what to do, right? So I'm just going to remind it and then tell it to also create a new rule in the system to make sure it doesn't happen again. And as you can see, I had a lot of X posts in here, but those were links. So maybe that's why it saw it was a screenshot, not a link. And I'm kind of playing around with this personally because screenshots I want to visualize in a Kanban that would be separate than this, potentially. So I'm kind of playing around with that right now. Okay, boom, done. So remove the entry, great. So we don't have clutter or trash in there. And then we updated with the new screenshot capture workflow. Yeah, okay, so I didn't have the workflow in place for some reason. I thought I did. So it points to the save tabs, includes the proper card format, has the column routing, explicit note, never add inbox items to root Kanban. Boom, perfect, right? All right, next time we'll route it correctly. Thanks, Claude. So this is a zero friction way to capture things on your phone and throw it into your system, because we're building a second brain. We don't want to have our iPhone notes or our screenshots folders in my photos screenshots is ridiculous how many screenshots I have, right? We want to organize those, especially the ones we want to capture, and then we want to make sure we're throwing some tags on there so I can say, hey, I really want to know what you can see, don't lose, what Boris Cherny was saying. He's the creator of Claude Code, on some of his recommendations. I ask Claude, hey, what are our best recommendations for Claude users? I want that to be loaded in there, right? So it's going to be tagged, and then I'm going to double bracket that so it's connected to everything related to Claude recommendations. That's how we would use the system in real time. I will also make sure in a future video that I'll show you how to add context to these captures so that when you have a screenshot, you can tag it correctly versus an X post or something else, or maybe a family photo, right? And then it will arrive in your inbox straight through the cloud. For now, this gets everything into the inbox where you can process it later. If you liked what you saw today and you want the exact prompt that makes Claude build this whole system for you, folders, tags, MOCs, everything, grab it in the description below. And if you want help building automations like this for your business, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be doing live co-working videos where I'm working in the background and then I'm stopping and taking breaks to help you with your very own automation. And if you want to learn more about me, hit me up on my website, Zach-Lloyd, and I'll see you in the next one.